Hello and welcome to a new video. I was gonna say like hello, welcome back. It's been a while, but for me it's been a while because I haven't filmed in a couple weeks, but for you I've still been uploading 3 times a week. So hello, welcome. As you can see, I do not have any makeup on yet because today's video is a get ready with me. So I'm not really going to be talking about the products I'm using. I will remember to list them in the bottom bar. I'm going to try. I'm not very good at that, but I'm going to try. And while we are getting ready, I thought that I would answer some of your questions about being a micro-influencer. I asked questions over on my social media community tab, Instagram, a few months ago, asking you guys if you had any questions, and I saved those, but now I actually have time to film it. So that is what we are going to do today. I will zoom you on in and we will get started. But if you are new here, hello and welcome. My name is Kelly and I love all things makeup and beauty. I love talking, I love makeup, I love talking about makeup. So if you like to chat about makeup too, I would love to have you subscribe and be part of the K Bella fam. But why don't we go ahead and jump into the video. Okay, we are up close and personal. We are gonna go ahead and get ready. And I know I mentioned that it's been a while since I've filmed. It's been about 2 weeks because I am a teacher. If you don't know, if you're new here, I feel like most people know that about me though. And we've gone back to work. So I'm back in school. We are face-to-face teaching because I'm in Texas. So I really was only virtual for like 3 weeks and then I was doing both at the same time. But when I am teaching, I only film on the weekends. I just don't have time during the week that's dedicated to teaching and family time and the sort. So I'm down to only filming on the weekends. And last weekend, not when you saw this, but when I'm filming, because it's Labor Day. I always get Labor Day and Memorial Day confused, but it's Labor Day weekend when I'm filming. So last weekend, I actually went to Michigan. One of my college best friends got married and I went to her wedding and I saw my sister who just had a baby. And if you follow me on Instagram, then you know that I got to meet my friend Molly from Makeup Molly. So I'll insert our picture right here. I posted it over on Instagram, but she is the first YouTuber that I met in person that I got to hang out with. So I went and hung out with her. She is so sweet. We talk like pretty much almost every day on Marco Polo, so we already have like a good friendship. But it was nice to like meet her in person, to meet her hubby and kids, and just to hang out for a little bit and chat. I got to see her beauty room in person and it was amazing. So I had a really great time. I just felt like I was go, go, go. You know, it was from one place to the next, driving all over Michigan, and I'm happy to be back. I missed Brielle. I know she missed me. I missed hanging out with Steve. We've been watching Manifest together. If you are watching Manifest, let me know down below. We are still on season 1. We just started watching it. So, you know, it's one of those things where it's nice to get away, but it's also great to come back home. You know, so I had a great time. But all that to say, that's why I wasn't filming. I didn't film any when I was in Michigan. I can be someone, because I really enjoy social media, like I can be someone that kind of gets like caught up in filming and trying to vlog and doing all of the things, and sometimes, you know, then you end up missing what's right there in front of you. So I had a great time, but I couldn't film, so that's why I keep repeating myself. That is why I have not filmed in 2 weeks. If you're new here, I'm very long-winded, okay? That entire story was just for me to tell you why I haven't filmed in 2 weeks. If you're new, hello, my name is Kelly and I like to talk. I was not kidding in my intro. I like to talk. Okay, so I can talk your ear off, or I can get into the business of answering some questions. Going back to May. I screenshotted it, luckily. Going back to May, when I asked the first time if you had any questions, one of the questions is, what things do people assume about you doing YouTube? Now this, I was thinking about it and I don't really know what people assume about me too much because one, I really, I don't tell everybody that I have a YouTube just because working in education, you have to be very careful about like what you say and do in the public eye. And I don't really want my students watching me or anything, you know, like I don't really want like their families knowing. So the people who I'm close to, like my family and my close friends know, but as far as like everybody at work knowing that I have a YouTube and stuff, it's not like that, just because I want to make sure that I'm separating my teaching life with my personal life. But if I think about the people who are close to me and some of the things that I think they assume, you know when you have a hair? Okay, I got it. One thing I think people might assume is that because I have a beauty YouTube channel that I must be like really good at applying makeup on other people. Like that I'm like a good makeup artist, and I've had friends ask me to do their makeup before, and I've done a couple people's makeup. I did makeup for my friend Kelly for her wedding. I did her makeup. We did some practice sessions, but I have not done a ton of other people's makeup. I've never freelanced. I play with makeup on my own skin, but applying makeup on yourself and applying makeup on another person is very different. Like even the way that you hold the eyeshadow brushes or hold the face brushes or anything, like it's very different applying makeup on someone else. And so I think there's a common misconception because people will ask me to do their makeup. And like I said, I have done people's makeup before. You know, I'm not like against it. I just think that people automatically assume that I'm like really good at doing other people's makeup, and that's just not it. I also think, and this is maybe people that aren't necessarily in my real life that, I don't like saying real life because YouTube isn't fake, but people that I see like on a daily, I don't think this really applies to them, but I think maybe people who follow me on social media might think that I get a ton of free makeup. Because I've had people ask me before, like, how do you get PR from brands? Or how do you, get brands to notice you? How do you get free makeup? Or how do you get paid from YouTube? And I mean, there's a couple questions where I could kind of touch on this, but I don't get a ton of free makeup from doing YouTube. And I just got my very first paycheck from AdSense. Just got my very first paycheck while I was in Michigan last weekend or right before, and it was $113, and I've been on YouTube since the end of 2015. And that was my first check that I've ever gotten. So it's like I don't have a bunch of brands sending me things. I don't get a bunch of money from making YouTube videos. Like this is honestly just something that I love and enjoy, and I do it because I love and enjoy it. So I just think that sometimes people think, oh, it's so glamorous, you get all this free makeup and you're so good at doing makeup, and it's like, this is just a hobby for me. I enjoy it. It's relaxing, it's calming, it's fun for me, and that's why I do it. I don't do it to have brands send me makeup. Like if that ever happens, that's a perk. It's a perk to turn your hobby into a source of revenue, but that's not something that comes very quickly, if you know what I mean. Another question was, how do you balance YouTube with a career? And this is a really great question. So I did mention I'm a teacher and I teach full-time. So Monday through Friday, I'm at school. When I come home, I'm with my daughter, and the weekends, I kind of like to chill and relax. Sometimes being a teacher, I have to like lesson plan or grade papers or whatnot, but I'm a very scheduled person. That's like who I am in life. Like I'm very scheduled. I like a routine. I like things the way that I like them. And I think that is part of what makes a really good teacher is like routines and time management. I mean, you have to be flexible, but also that kind of carries over into my YouTube life. And I have dedicated moments to each thing in my life. So For example, Monday through Friday, I'm teaching and I'm doing family stuff. I really don't do anything for YouTube. I try not to edit videos. I definitely don't have time for filming. You know, I have my videos scheduled, set, like ready for the week before the week even hits. And I try to like answer comments and stuff, but I don't spend a whole lot of time doing anything on social media during the week. And one tip that my friend Emily from Emily's Makeup Bag told me one time was that you could, y'all, I just have hair. I don't know what's going on. But Emily told me that you can make drafts on your Instagram. And so you like upload your picture, you fill the description box in and everything, and you can save it as a draft. And so that way, during the week, when I'm posting my Instagram content, I'm literally just going in, finding my draft and publishing it. I don't have to worry about tagging brands. I don't have to worry about like filling in the description box. So during the week, my social media stuff is very, very limited. And then on the weekends, because my daughter is young, she's 2, almost 2.5, she still takes a nap every day. And that means that my husband and I are usually always home on the weekend. So when she's napping is when I'm filming. Right now, she's napping, so I'm filming. And then I will edit either at night or the next day when she's napping. My goal is to always film on Saturdays, so I batch film, meaning I film multiple videos in a day. Sometimes I try to put in effort to change my shirt or like a lipstick or something, but most of the time I'm just like, listen, I'm filming in the same day, okay? I'm a pre-filmer, I batch film, I film on Saturdays, I try to edit Saturdays and Sundays. Every now and then, like we have a long weekend with Labor Day, so I'll probably try to film another day this weekend. And I try to make sure that I'm pre-filmed, but also that I have a couple videos that aren't time sensitive on standby. For example, my declutters. I filmed several declutter videos before I even went back to work, but because they're not time sensitive, it doesn't matter when I upload them. So in order to go away for the weekend to Michigan, I had to do a lot of pre-filming, and I had 6 pre-filmed edited videos already up on YouTube ready for me to schedule them. And I was able to throw some of my declutters in there so that I didn't have to try and like, you know, over film or film too much. So really, I think one very important way to be able to like do YouTube and have a full-time career is just dedicating certain amounts of time to what it is you want to do, certain amounts of time to your career and certain amounts of time to YouTube, and like really sticking to that schedule. I'm a very scheduled person. I'm not someone who like does stuff on the fly, but definitely pre-filming helps me, and having like videos on standby is super helpful as well, because there will be times where I might not be able to film for a weekend, whether it's spontaneous or a planned trip or something, and I don't like missing uploads too often. So that would be my advice. If you want to start a YouTube or have a YouTube and you also film videos, or you want to start filming, is just like have dedicated sets of time to each thing in your life and just stick to it that way. Pre-filming is amazing. You can edit, upload, save as draft, and publish it when you're ready. I'm gonna jump off to do my brows real quick and I'll be right back. Let me tell you what my New Year's resolution should be. I know we're not ready for New Year's resolutions, but my New Year's resolution should be to do my eyebrows quicker. I probably spent like 15 minutes on them. I literally have to draw them from scratch every single day. It gets to be really frustrating and annoying, and I'm also a perfectionist. So especially this eyebrow was giving me issues today, trying to draw them and make them look like I want. But here we go. This is what we're working with. The next question, I think I remember it, is do you ever want to quit? I need a brush. Hold, please. Okay, so do you ever want to quit? Funny thing you should ask is I did quit YouTube before. Not on purpose, but it happened. When I started YouTube back at the end of, 2015? We had just moved into a new house. When I started getting into makeup and social media and everything, my husband was coaching football, so he was gone a lot, and I kind of like needed a hobby, you know, like I was bored. I needed something to do, so I got into YouTube. And I had free time, I had free space. And then I got pregnant in 2018 and had my daughter in 2019, and I never intended on quitting YouTube. Matter of fact, I thought that I would just take like a hiatus. I was gonna try and pre-film and get like at least one video up a week, and then I thought my daughter was due in April, so by the time summer hits, like I'll be ready to film more videos. And that is not what happened at all. In fact, the opposite happened. I went into labor a week early, which doesn't seem like a lot, but I had just finished what was going to be my last week at work, at school, and my long-term sub was taking over. And I thought, you know what? I have a week before I'm due. Like, I can get the baby's stuff ready. I can pre-film. Everything will be great. And then I went into labor, and I had her a few days early, and I just very much enjoyed my time with her. I nursed her and we hung out together. My husband stayed home with me for a little bit, but then he eventually had to go back to work. And in the summer, there was one time where I tried to film. I don't even remember what I filmed, but I think it was when Samantha March worked with Ofra on her Start Inspired highlighter, but it was called March Beauty Word, and she just picked like 2 of her favorite shades and put it into a split pan. And so I remember buying that, and I think that's what my video was on, honestly. I filmed a video. She was like 3 months old. And then I went to put it onto my computer, and iMovie wasn't working, and I couldn't edit it, and I just didn't have the time, energy, or patience to even care. And so that video never got edited or published or anything. And then I didn't try again for several months. I just was very caught up in going back to work, working and being a mom, pumping at work, and I didn't really have a desire to film. There were times when I missed it. I was not on Instagram. I wasn't like doing anything social media related, and I wasn't even wearing a ton of makeup, and I didn't feel bad about it, because when I started filming in 2015, I always told myself I never wanted to get to the point where I felt like I had to film, you know? I didn't want to get to the point, by the way, this is what I'm using, Film Star Bronze and Glow. I didn't want to get to the point where I was making myself film, or it felt like a chore, it felt like a job. It's always been something that's fun, that's a hobby that I enjoy and find relaxing. And so I just wasn't feeling it, and I didn't make an announcement or anything, and I didn't delete anything, you know, like every now and then I would post on Instagram and be like, hey, like still here, doing good, you know, just have this newborn baby. I'll film again when I can. And then I was ready last summer. She was over a year old, and I stopped nursing, and I was ready to get some of me back, you know, like some of Kelly before I was a mom. And that's when I started filming again, and I just came into filming and like YouTube with a new outlook. I wanted to meet new people. I wanted to form some friendships. I wanted YouTube to be a different space for me. And honestly, for me, YouTube doesn't feel like something that I would or wouldn't quit, you know? Like I film videos when I feel like it, and I upload. It just so happens that I feel like filming videos often, you know? But I mean, would I ever be against quitting? No, there may be a time. My husband and I are trying to have another baby. I'm not pregnant yet, but we're trying. And I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if I quit again when I have another baby, because I would like to nurse again, and I would like to, you know, spend time with Brielle and with the baby. But it's not something where if I did take another break, it's not something that I think would be like the end of YouTube. You know, like I think I would come back like I did last time, just because it is something that I love and enjoy. And especially now being a mom, it's like something that I get to do that's just for me. You know, like I get to come in the room. My husband is watching football, my daughter's sleeping, like everything is calm, and I just get a little bit of Kelly time. So no, I don't have any plans of quitting, and I don't ever think about quitting, but I also don't like hold myself to a high standard with YouTube. I enjoy it, so that is why I post 3 videos a week. That is why I film on the weekend. That is why I have a schedule. And if there ever comes a point where I didn't feel like I was enjoying it, or, you know, I felt like it was taking away time from my family and it wasn't relaxing and enjoyable, then I wouldn't do it. But as for now, I don't feel that, so we're gonna keep rolling with it. I feel like that bronzer just wasn't deep enough for me, so I'm gonna go into my Project Pan bronzer. Gosh, I feel like I'm never gonna hit pan on this thing. Okay, the next question is it hard to keep up with the financial aspect of new releases and reviews as a micro-influencer? So, yes and no. Like I said, I just got my first paycheck like a month ago by the time you see this from YouTube, and it was $100, and that won't get you very far in the makeup world, especially if you're doing this full time. So, I mean, there are definitely times where I have felt the stress of feeling like I should be getting certain products to review them on my channel, but at the same time, I made a conscious effort to not have my channel be a review channel. You know, review channels, they're constantly purchasing the latest and greatest, and I think they're so helpful and they're so needed in the beauty space because that's a lot of times what consumers are looking for. They want guidance in purchasing a product, and so they look to YouTube. But since I don't make money off of this, that wouldn't be sustainable for me. So that's why I've spent time trying to make my channel more of like chatty, like talking about favorites, talking about makeup, talking about what I want to do with my makeup, talking about new releases that I think I'm into, but I also make a conscious effort to not purchase makeup just for YouTube. I mean, there have definitely been times where I've done that, but I try not to do that. I don't ever want to purchase something just for a video. I want to purchase it because I'm genuinely interested in it. I want to know more about it, and I think that my subscribers would too. But I definitely think, hold on, I need another brush. But I definitely think, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, I think my audience, I think you guys, you know, appreciate that I'm not a review channel. There will be times where I'll put up reviews and talk about makeup that's new that I picked up that I was excited about. And you know, there are times when people reach out to me and say, hey, are you going to do a video on this, or what do you think about this? And I like to do that here and there, but I feel like my audience appreciates the fact that it's not always the new. Sometimes we're just talking about favorites, or sometimes we're doing, you know, top 5s, or sometimes we're doing tag videos. And I think that I've built a subscriber base that really looks forward to that and appreciates that. So now that I'm deeper into YouTube, I don't always feel the pressure of getting the new all the time, but I mean, I can still feel that pressure at times, and it can be tempting to want to purchase everything, but the way my teacher pay is set up, I just can't do that. And I'm gonna scroll because I think there was another question about that. Where is it? Yeah, how do you balance financially what to purchase for a review? So that kind of goes hand in hand with it too. That's why you see a lot of, I'm using the Buxom Seychelles. These are probably going to be on sale, or would have already been on sale by the time you see this video. I don't know when this video is going up, but these are going to be in the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty. That is why you see low buys on my channel, or, you know, Project Pans, or no buys. You know, sometimes people will say, oh, I could never do a low buy, like, good for you. Well, if I don't do a low buy, then it would be very easy with the price of makeup for me to be in a financial bind. Because I like to film videos and because I like to try new makeup, if I didn't put myself on a budget, then it would be easy to get out of hand. So Some people do monetary budgets. What I have been doing when I do my low buys, if I notice I'm purchasing a ton of makeup, what I try to do with my low buys is not necessarily a monetary amount, but I like to pick like a certain number of items. That way I feel like with me personally, hold on, I need another brush. I feel like with me personally, if I put a monetary amount on it, then I feel like I need to spend that amount. I feel like if I don't purchase that amount, then I go out looking for stuff that maybe I wouldn't be that into. And I've really tried to curb my spending to products that I feel like I would get use out of, and curating my collection to be a little bit smaller. And so when I do low buys, I just say a certain number of items, and that way, no matter the price, if it's 3 items, one month it may be, that $20-30 is 3 items, and another month it may be that $150 is 3 items, but I have been financially responsible for myself since I was a teenager. I went to college at 17 and I put myself through school. I took out loans, I worked 3 jobs, and I learned how to budget very early on. And so my husband and I budget our finances. We give ourselves an allowance, spending money, and my makeup goes into my spending money. And there are times where there are products that I want, whether it's for review or because I want it for my collection, and I just can't get it because it doesn't fit in the budget, and it is what it is. So, you just kind of have to, I think you have to go into it, if you are a makeup lover like myself, I think you have to go into it with like some sort of goal or like boundaries. Otherwise, it would be very easy to like go overboard. So whether you put a limit and, look at your finances, how much do you have coming in, how much do you have going out, what's left over, and that could be your amount for the month or whatnot. Or like I do, pick a certain number of items. You can get 2 new makeup items or 3 or 4, like really setting boundaries helps me to like manage my finances. I hope that was helpful. Okay, moving on to the eyes. I just sprayed my face, these baby hairs. Y'all, they're driving me crazy. I'm trying to hairspray them down, but we are gonna dip back into the Huda Beauty Wild Jaguar palette. I did a video on this. I will link it in the cards if you wanna see it, and I use that middle shade. I kind of want to use this shade or the gold. I don't really know. We'll figure it out. But another question was, how supportive are friends and family of you doing YouTube? So, like I mentioned, I don't tell like everybody in my life, but my friends and family are all aware. I talk about Smags often. She is one of my best friends here in Texas. She is an avid YouTube watcher. She literally watches every single one of my videos. And I asked her one day, because I love filming. I was in theater, when I was younger and stuff, and sometimes I find myself having like a filming voice. So I asked her one day, because she watches every single one of my videos, I was like, is it me on camera? Like, do I act like myself or am I off? And she was like, no, it's you. Like you act like yourself. And especially too, because sometimes I edit stuff out. I feel like with videos like this, where it's like a chatty style get ready with me, I don't have to edit a ton out, but in other types of videos, I feel like I'm editing a lot, and I'm like, is my true self coming through? And she said yes. But my friends and family are super supportive. I have friends that watch my videos, friends that comment. I have had, like my cousins and stuff, my girl cousins, they follow me, I think more so on Instagram than YouTube, because they're not just, I don't have a ton of like makeup lovers in my immediate circle. So, my friends at work enjoy when I do declutters and they get some new makeup. But I have seen people post videos like this, creators film videos like this before, and they have had people, ask like in a snarky way. I've never had this, but they've had people ask in a snarky way, like, well, what does your husband think about your YouTube? Like, how does your husband feel with you spending your money on YouTube? And one thing I can say is that my husband is definitely hands down 100% my biggest supporter. He was the one that pushed me to start YouTube, and when we weren't ready, we were renting a house and stuff, and he was like, okay, well, why don't you start Instagram first and build a following and then do YouTube? So that's exactly what I did. I started my Instagram in 2014, started my YouTube a year later, the end of 2015, and he purchased the camera that I film on. He bought my vanity and put it together for me. He helped set up my beauty room and then moved my beauty room to the guest room, and now my mom lives with us, so he moved my beauty room into our bedroom. He bought me a laptop because lately it has been really hard to edit on my desktop. I've had it since I started filming YouTube, so 5 years or almost 6 years, and it hasn't been working the best. And so I've been spending hours editing there, and I was like, man, I just really wish that I could like edit in bed or edit on the couch and not have to worry. And so he went out and purchased a laptop for me. He does not have any interest in being on camera. He doesn't edit my videos for me or anything. I really don't even think he watches them. I mean, I know he's subscribed to me because I've seen it on his YouTube in between car videos, but I don't think he watches my videos. Makeup just isn't his lane, but he fully supports me, and you know, he has bought me makeup before, but he's not in the habit of buying me makeup because he doesn't know what to get, but he has definitely helped me with the tech stuff. He bought me my ring light for my birthday and helped me set it up. So, you know, everyone's been super supportive. My niece, I will have to get my sister's permission to insert her picture, so it might be me and then like an emoji over her face because my niece is 8, but my niece watches all of my videos. So hey Zarin, if you're watching, and she did my makeup when I was up in Michigan. She loves makeup. So I mean, everybody's been really supportive, and it's not something that seems weird. You know, like when I first started filming, it kind of was weird, and I didn't tell my family right away. It was just like Steve that knew, and maybe like my sisters, and that was it. But then it became something where I posted about it like on my personal Instagram or on my Facebook, and I had some people, you know, from my outside of YouTube life start following me. But like I mentioned before, I mean, being a teacher, I make my channel so that it wouldn't be that big of a deal if my students or their family members were to stumble across my videos, but I do not tell people too much just because I do want to keep that separate, you know, like my teaching life and my personal life separate. But I mean, everyone's been super supportive. Another question is, how often do you reach out to brands, or do they reach out to you? For the first several years, nobody was knocking on my door, okay? Nobody was trying to reach out to me. Brands were not trying to reach out to me, and I never reached out to them either. I didn't really know that was a thing. And then I want to say right before I had Brielle, so I had been on YouTube maybe about 3 years at the time, right before I had her, I think I saw someone mention in a video that they were like sending out an email to brands to like let them know about their channel and like ask them, you know, if they could be on their PR list or whatever. And I was like, I never thought of that. Like, I didn't know that was a thing. So right before I had Brielle, I looked into that more. I reached out to Sigma, never heard anything back. I reached out to Pixie and was on their PR list for a while, and then when I stopped filming for a long time, I didn't really hear from them anymore, which, I mean, that's to be expected. I stopped filming for 14 months, and I think I reached out to a couple other brands, but Pixie was the only brand before my YouTube break who put me on their PR list. And then when I came back from YouTube, I've reached out to a couple brands. Like I reached out to Pixie to let them know that I was back filming again, and they just sent me a nice email like, okay, well, if we have room on our PR, we'll look into it. And I haven't heard anything since. But this was the first time, like last fall when I came back to YouTube, that I actually really had more of a welcoming response to brands. And honestly, it was the smaller indie brands. I reached out to Propa Beauty and asked them for a code, and they granted me a code. If you ever want to shop Propa Beauty, I think it's KBella15. And I reached out to BK Beauty in the fall or winter last year. And I was really nervous to reach out to them because it's, Lisa J's brand, and they're larger and more well-known than any of the brands that have ever reached out to me. A lot of times brands that reach out to me are brands I don't know about, like lash brands or hair brands, and I'm like, I don't wear those things on my channel. I don't think that would be a good fit. Or Korean skincare brands. It's usually brands I've never heard of that are reaching out to me. So I was really nervous to reach out to BK Beauty, and I asked them if I could have a code, and they granted it, KBella10. And then they were, I think, the first brand ever since I returned to YouTube to ever send me anything. They sent me some brushes. They sent me some brushes for a giveaway, and I have a great relationship with them. I really love them. And I haven't reached out to too many brands since, but this summer was the first time where brands have really reached out to me, and that was amazing. Amazing. I had Dossier reach out to me. I had Ana Luisa reach out to me and look fantastic. So 3 brands that I actually did know about who came to me, and I was just floored. I was shocked. I was honored. I was so excited. I was like telling my husband, and that was something like I took pride in those videos. I loved working with the brands. I hope that they, enjoyed working with me. I would work with all 3 of them in the future. That was something where it was just exciting to be recognized and to be noticed, especially since I mentioned, I've been on YouTube for so long, and I've felt very unnoticed for so long. So it just was nice. It was really nice, but it's not something that happens very often. And now that we're in the school year, it would be a lot harder for me to do any kind of work with brands, just because sometimes they don't give you a very long turnaround. Being that I teach and stuff and only film on the weekends, like I kind of need advanced notice in order to be able to film videos. So it probably won't be something that I'll be doing a ton during the school year, but it was still, this summer was like a really, really exciting experience for me. Okay, so I'm trying to decide what to put on my lids, and like, do I go with this one? Do I go with this one? I'm wearing a gray shirt, so I may go with this one. I thought I was gonna do the gold, but it's very cool toned. So I think I'm gonna do this one. I feel like it's not picking up a ton on my brush, but I'm gonna spray it with Fix Plus like I always do. Hope for the best. Hope that there's not a ton of fallout. Okay, I'm digging this. It seems pretty sheer. This shade would probably, honestly, be much better with my finger. I don't like using my finger, but it's hard with nails too. If I can get a little bit on there and then take the brush and get in the cracks and creases, that might help out a little bit. Okay, I think I'm gonna finish off my makeup. My battery's low, so I need to change it. I do have one more question. I feel like I kind of touched on it, but I like to talk, so we'll touch on it again. I'm gonna finish my eyes real quick and throw on some mascara and change my battery, and we'll be back to wrap up. Y'all, I need a new camera battery so badly. I have 2 of them. One is the original battery that I've had for like 5 years. That's the one that was in this camera while I was just filming this look, and it already died. And I have another one that actually works good. I can film with it, you know, several times because I purchased it a few months ago and it works nice, but they're just like $60 on Amazon. But that's not why we're here. I'm putting lotion on my hands because I just washed them. But this is the finished look right here using the Wild Jaguar palette. And I'll just tell you on my lips because I might forget, but I'll put it in the description bar. Cool BFF by ColourPop is my lip liner. And then this Urban Decay lipstick in the shade Back Talk, which it says it's a matte. But this does not look like a matte and it doesn't feel like a matte. It feels like a satin. But it's this pretty color right here. This was actually a gift from Molly, so thank you, Molly. I hope you don't mind me sharing that, but there we have it. This is the finished look, and I did have one more question, and the question was, do you ever feel FOMO or pressure to buy all of the new stuff? And we kind of did talk about that, and I'm pretty good at like budgeting myself, but you know, FOMO happens. Natasha Denona Glam palette, that was FOMO. I think I even talked about that in a Will I Buy It, saying I wasn't going to get it, and then I purchased it. Another FOMO item was the Good Apple foundation. I wasn't going to get that, and then it like blew up on TikTok, so now I have that foundation. I'm trying to think, like Lisa Eldridge lipsticks, that was a FOMO. Like, those are the things that I would not have purchased on my own. BH Cosmetics Avocado Toast and the Blueberry Muffin palette, like those are items that I never would have purchased on my own, but the FOMO got to me. But I mean, there are times, I was actually just talking to my friend Stephen Ford on Instagram, and I feel like I go in waves. Like, there are times where I want to purchase all of the makeup, like February, March, April, and probably even May. I feel like I was buying everything, and then I go through phases where I'm just like, meh, like nothing is screaming out to me, nothing is calling out to me, and that's kind of how I feel now. Like, I haven't purchased a ton of new makeup in June, July, or August. Summer's usually pretty busy. We're traveling, we're out and about. Makeup isn't like heavy on my mind, and I don't have a ton of time to like watch YouTube and think about all of the new makeup. So I'm in a wave where I'm like, meh. But the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty is here. I have already made one purchase. I know that a foundation that I want to try is going to go on sale. Like, there were a few days where I was like, I know I'm going to be getting some stuff, and it can be hard, and I've set low buys and I've failed before, but I just try to really think. One thing that I'm trying to do now is thinking about a makeup item and giving it some time, and if I still want it in a couple weeks, in a month, then I know that maybe it would be okay to splurge on. You know, like the Urban Decay Naked Wild West, I still want that. I still want that eyeshadow palette, but I'm waiting for it to go half off because at some point in time, Urban Decay will have it half off, and that's when I want to purchase it. And the Dior powder, that's been heavy on my mind. Not the powder, the bronzer. I picked up the powder. The Dior bronzer has been heavy on my mind. Like, there are certain items where I know that I want them, but I just try to make myself wait to see if I really think I'm going to get use out of it, because I've definitely fallen into the trap of purchasing makeup thinking I've wanted it and using it one time or not at all, and then it just sits in my collection, and I have a ton of makeup and I won't be able to use it all, but I never want to think that makeup is like going bad just sitting on my shelf. So, but that's going to do it for this video. It's been a long one. I'm just rambling at this point. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, hearing more about me as an influencer. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you have more questions, feel free to leave them in the comments down below and I can answer them there. Otherwise, make sure you are subscribed before you go. That way I can see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Bye. Boom.